Despite a phase and aftermath of a disaster, KHENARTHI'S Roost remains the source of inspiration for many artists, as well as the source of nostalgia for most of the old Mary Dominion residents. The island is located south from elsewhere, and is mostly populated by Khajiit, mud crabs and novice adventurers. We start our journey throughout the isle on the southern beach. Numerous broken ships are scattered across the shore as a reminder of a horrendous storm that hit Gold Fleet of Old Mary Dominion. The fleet was headed to Mistral, but that was not going to happen. Later, it's been discovered that the storm was a part of Sea Elves' secret plot against Dominion. But regardless of the reasons, Elmeric forces suffered major losses and needed to regroup.
This is KHENARTHI'S Roost, off the coast of southern Elsewhere. We were supposed to make a more tactical landing, but that hurricane took us all by surprise. At least we made it here alive. Not all of us were so lucky.
On the hill up of the beach there was an infirmary camp. Close proximity to the settlement called Eagle Strand made it a perfect place to stay at, while injured survivors were receiving treatment. But let's leave these poor souls to medical professionals, for our point of interest here is this strange tower. It looks like all other towers in the area, until we peek into it and discover that dark clouds are gathering inside, making it rain all over the place.
Is that Sea Elf? Mama, they call them. I think he's doing it just to annoy us.
So, clouds and rain inside turn to be this captured Sea Elf's trickery, but that's not the only thing we can see while exploring this tower. Of course, most of you know that there is a sky shard on the upper level, but if we look left, we will see skeletons. Skeletons. On top of the tower. One is literally hanging on it. Who are these skeletons? Was the storm so disastrous they were washed from the bottom of the ocean and thrown on top of this tower? Or were them here before and for some strange reason locals did not put them down? I guess it will remain a mystery forever. Good evening, Mr. Cat. Can you tell me anything about this tower? Something that I might not know. So you're telling this tower top is not an actual top of the tower, right? You have my gratitude, Mr. Cat, and right now I will go and check the information you provided me with. Indeed, on the very top of Broken Tower I saw a small slope on which I could easily climb. There was an archer's post, apparently abandoned. I spent some time there admiring the sunset, but then it was time to go down. Wait, did you believe I would actually jump down? Of course not. Bards are civilized folk, and I went down using stairs, like an upstanding person. But the sun was setting, and I had to find a place to spend the night. There were no vacant places in Dominion Camp, and the tavern in Eagle Strand was more like a bar, with no rooms or beds. And I started to feel sad about that. They really need more rooms for travelers here. Even some of the Khajiits do not have a place to sleep and get depressed.
Do not fear. This one won't jump. But the thought has occurred.
Finally, I found a ruined tower and decided to settle there for a night. It was already dark, so I quickly put up a camp and went to sleep. Okay, I'm just kidding. True bards never sleep, and now we're out into the night for even more discoveries. But shh, it's going to be our secret. You may remember the adventure at the Temple of Morning Springs. It was about Ulder. ancient sea elf wizard who was imprisoned there long time ago and accidentally was set free by Mages Guild members who embarked on an expedition to the temple. We had to help Silin Ulder in the temple once more and stop him from raising the army of the dead. Alongside with Ulder, we had to seal one of the mages inside of the temple as well, to serve as a vessel to contain the Dark Wizard. The other mage would be heartbroken and swear to find a solution to save their companion. However, not everyone knows that this story in fact continues. To see the aftermath, we have to leave KHENARTHI'S Roost for a moment and travel somewhere else. We are in Eldenroot, the capital of Aldmeri Dominion. Let's visit local Mages Guild. I believe you will be surprised to see someone there. Inside the guild, we can see all Mages Guild members from the expedition to Morning Springs: Aelsil, Rurelion, and Gathwin. One of them have successfully rescued their companion from Alder's prison, and Aelsil can even hint us that Rurelion and Gathwin are moving to something more than mentor-apprentice relationship.
Are you familiar with hand fasting? I'm not entirely certain what it means, but I'd wager Rorelian and Gathwen will be doing it before the month's end. Between you and I, they wanted to hand fast each other since the day they met.
But for now, let's leave our newly made couple and go back to KHENARTHI'S Roost. We have much more to see. Beautiful sunrise finds us at the top of the Temple of the Crescent Moons. I could not find out anything about this place. Monks were too busy to speak with me. Apparently they were in the middle of ritual to secure better harvest. I did not find anything interesting here either. Probably just this guy over here. Oh, he is adorable. I never mentioned that before, but I had to take a role of a true detective and discover the greatest mystery of KHENARTHI'S Roost. And now I will proudly reveal it to you. Have you ever wondered why the Prowler, ship that we all had been helping to fix, still stands at the same place? No matter how many breaches we sealed, no matter how many times their captain told she will take off soon, it remains motionless. And I found the answer. The sailors are drunk as skeevers.
Repairs go faster with a drink in hand.
Land. Have we reached land? But the room still spins.
Well, probably this attempt of being a detective failed, but I did not give up and continued moving north along the shore. Soon I noticed a ship. Unlike other vessels I saw before, it has not been crashed down to scraps, so I decided to explore the surroundings. I was curious about massive cages that fell off the ship, what kind of beasts were transported in them, and where they were gone. The first clue I found was a book at the improvised camp next to the landing site. The book was about Guama, insect-like creatures from Morrowind. And then I saw small bugs buzzing in the sand below. Those were Guama scribs, first and less dangerous form of Guama life cycle. But the cages on the coast were too big for them. This was when I realized I was not alone here. A wood elf was hiding behind a crate, keeping his eyes at the nearby cavern.
I came here from Windcatcher Plantation to see if the storm caused any damage. Then I noticed the great tree covered in some sort of fetid vapor. The great tree will die if the spirit can't do its work.
I decided to help him and went inside the cavern. Just at the entrance I found the owner of Guama.
Been a Kwama master for over a decade. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm up to my neck in droppings, and I sure could use a hand getting out. Ever try piloting a ship through a hurricane while your entire cargo of Kwama eggs hatch and go bug nuts? Been there. Can't recommend it. After we wrecked, they made a Kwama line toward this cave. I came after them, but they're a bit distracted. Bumped into a fine-looking tree trunk on my way out. Thought I was done for, but it kept walking. If you can help the pretty tree trunk do what it needs to do, I bet they'll head back this way.
And so I descended. There was a Spriggan deep below in the bottom of the cave. It was summoned by local spinner to mend the tree roots. However, hostile insects hindered her from doing that. I had to fight most aggressive Guamas, while the spirit performed her ritual. For an experienced adventurer like me, it was not a problem, although I felt pity for crazed bugs. When I got outside, the spinner herself was waiting at the entrance.
Praise Ifrei. The miasma has cleared, yet I sense this begins a new chapter for the great tree. The Kwama will soon learn the cave is their nest and treat the spirit as their queen. Together, they'll guard the cave against intruders who seek to harm the great tree.
All talks about the tree made me decide to take a look at it myself. Moreover, the rain got heavier, and I hoped to wait on the tree crown. Well, it wasn't Eldenroot, but I guess it would do that time. When the sky cleared up, I continued moving towards Mistral. Along the way, I saw a fisherman's camp. There, I got a glimpse of another catchy encounter. Two Khajiit anglers tried to fish, however, instead, they caught unconscious Bosmer. One of them showed sympathy to the poor fellow, but his partner was not so excited about the catch.
The storm, it brings strange fish, yes? Boots, metal, elves, it seems. Anot thought a mud crab was on the hook, yes? He was lucky this one saw him before the line was cut. He's alive, but only just.
Anat fishes up an elf? Throw it back, this one says. You cannot eat it. You cannot use it as bait. What good is an elf? What does he do? He keeps it. If it dies, Elenabi will never hear the end of it.
After that tiny scene, I went back on my way. Mistral was close. Morning. Nice day for drinking, ain't it? I always loved Mistral. Don't know why, but it reminded me childhood. Probably all those bridges, tangled streets, cozy hideouts made it work that way. As a kid, I loved playing detective, you probably figured by now. Even at this point, I'm heading to Cat's Eye Key to show you somewhat belated clue to the whole events with Marmor plot. The clue awaits us at the remains of the hostel. The whole disaster could have been warded off if only someone's keen eye noticed this suspiciousness earlier. Let's get in and discover it now. Inside the hostel, we can find a note that documents weird movements of Sea Elves group. Allegedly, they were infiltrators who used this hostel as their temporary base. The final entry supposedly was made before the Sylvanar was murdered. That was a solid find, but definitely not the most frightening one. At last, I will show you the most terrifying thing on this island. No ghost or villain can be compared to it, I swear.
Come and see from the distant shores of Glanumbra a real, live dog. Do not worry, it is safely caged.
Does nobody care?
Dahara would not let it tear the flesh from your bones. In Daggerfall, packs of these horrible monsters roam the streets at night and prey upon the unwary. My own father, divine save his soul, was torn to pieces by just such a pack. Can you not feel the hatred that burns within its belly? Bars barely contain its hunger. For 5 gold, gaze into its eyes. Peer into the face of death itself. For 10, place your hand upon its fur. Feel the muscle of a true killing machine.
Well, yes, That was it, the biggest threat of KHENARTHI'S Roost. And on this dramatic note, we come to the final lines in our entry. KHENARTHI'S Roost has more things to find and experience, but we need to leave something for others, yes? I hope this will inspire you for adventure of your own. Thank you very much for watching this video and stay tuned for the next entry in Rimmen Bards College Journal.